Tigers take one on the chin, losing at home to Minnesota. Final score 6-3. When you give up three of these, it doesn't usually end well.
Garver first time up, soft fly ball to right. Waiting now in a 3-2. Upright stance close to the plate, 3-2 pitch. Fly ball left field. This one's deep, this one's trouble. Stewart going back, and this ball is gone, a home run. Number 10 for Garver and a 2-1 lead for the Twins.
They go on to win it 6-3. Tigers and Twins again today. Comerica Park 410 right here on the ticket. Tigers will have a bullpen pitching session all game long today. No starting pitcher. Tigers travel mug giveaway today. Also an on-field clinic with the Tigers at 2:15 at Comerica Park for the Kitties. Carl Coffin, Jeff Criswell helped Michigan take down number 1 seed UCLA 3-2 in the opening game of the Los Angeles Super Regional. NBA will play 2 regular season games in Mexico this upcoming season. The Pistons will play one of them. That'll be against the Dallas Mavericks on December 12th. Toronto Raptors go up 3-1, winning for the second consecutive game at Golden State. This time come from behind, 105-92. Kawhi Leonard, 36 points and 12 rebounds. Klay Thompson came back from injury, scored 28, but not enough. Game 5 Monday in Toronto. At the Ticket Update desk, I'm Jeff Lesson. For more, 97.1theticket.com.
The following is a paid program. The views expressed on this program are not necessarily those of Entercom Communications, its sponsors, or affiliates.
Good morning. Welcome to the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show, brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. I'm your host, Harvey Freed. Alongside of me, Harry Glanz.
Morning, Harvey. How are you today?
Fantastic, Harry. Good morning to you.
Beautiful outside today. We're in a good mood. It's home buying season. We're getting jacked up. It's fun. We have great guests, too.
Yeah, we're going to talk about the extended home buying season, June 8, 2019, bringing from our office, Sam Mansour. Good morning, Sam.
Good morning.
How are you today?
Happy to have Kent and Lisa Beth.
All right. Hey, we got Ken Tyrell and Lisa Beth Riopel. Hey, how you doing?
Good morning.
What's going on?
Happy to be here.
Oh, good.
They're
great
so
to have
great.
you guys in.
Just talking to them before the show, they're very experienced. They're very down to earth. They're well thought out. They're very common sense oriented. It just is not that difficult to do business, is it? It's just not.
It's actually fun. I just, I can honestly say I've done a lot of different things in my careers, and this is the one that is actually every day fun to get up to do.
It's fun, right? It's fun talking to people. It's fun showing people houses. And, it's even more fun when they find something that they really like, and it's going to be a place where, first-time home buyers, which we still enjoy after doing this for a very long time, where they're going to raise a family and lay down some roots and live there for a long period of time. It is the whole process for us. I know for a lot of people it's painstaking, but for us it's just a lot of fun. Good. Well, welcome.
Well, there's a lot of steps in the way. We'll talk about that fun and excitement definitely in the world of real estate when you're purchasing a house. You guys are out of the Coldwell Banker Weir Manual office, is that?
Correct, in downtown Northville.
Downtown Northville. I know you work there. I've been spending a lot of time out there. My buddy's out there in the Northville area, and I talked to you a little bit about that community garden that's out there. Talk about so many great cities, and I love the area you guys work. Of course, Northville has been gangbusters for probably the last 20 years. They started putting in the new construction, and a lot of the builders were out there, and of course, a lot of that work on the golf course. But great proximity to the University of Michigan, great hospitals, education, highways, and everything, making your area really exclusive.
Yeah, consumers are really driven to the area for schools, lifestyle, ease of commute to work.
Well, community services there are good. Everything's great there. I mean, the high school is, the high school's not that old. I mean, it's fairly new high school. It's big. Community's great. They support, high school sports there. It's very community involved, and love going there. Don't like coaching against them because they're usually pretty good.
There's a lot of talent over there.
Baseball and basketball, they do a great job there. And but the community's great. The downtown area is fun. You get to walk around there, go to dinner, walk around after. A lot of good things.
Yeah, I mean, Northville, Plymouth, that's one of those, again, we talk about so often, the walkable cities, these downtown areas. To me, it's as if Plymouth did sort of invent themselves. The downtown area was always there, but it became very fun, and now more and more people want to be in those downtown areas. Hey, we're going to take all your calls this morning at 248-539-9797. Of course, we're brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. You can call us all weekend long and get that strong approval letter, 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker. There's no doubt Fannie Mae did their poll, 13 points up from the last time they did this. The consumer confidence, they always want to know what's going on. Are people out there? Is it decisively now the time to buy a house? Well, people are saying yes to that. There's no doubt about that. An increase in confidence, and people are saying, hey, if I'm working, I'm making money, I got some equity in my other house that I might have lived in for the last 10 or 20 years, maybe now is the time to make that step up.
That is definitely a good way to look at it. And what's kind of nice is those people who've been there for 10 or 20 years have a lot of equity in their home, and it puts them in a very good position to purchase what they want. And we're finding that a lot of buyers, that's the statement they're making.
Okay.
This is what I want, and what it is relative to maybe the house next door or something like that is irrelevant. This is
Right.
what I want. This is what I'm going to
Well,
get.
their lifestyle, they want what they want, and they want it now.
Exactly.
But they also want to pay the price that they want to pay, too. But the prices aren't going down. They're going up. And I have to get this out this morning. So jobs report came out. There weren't as many jobs created as they thought. So what's going on right now, everybody's saying, well, rates are going down. They're going to cut the rates. Here's the deal. I can guarantee you this. Rates are not going to go down to zero. Okay, maybe you've heard me say that for the last 20 years. They're not going down to zero. We're not going to pay you to go ahead and get along. So going along with the topic of conversation, is it a good time to buy? It's always a good time to buy. Now is especially a good time to buy. The rates, it's a favorable rate environment, but it's been a favorable rate environment for a very long time. Don't wait because you think, and this goes for refinancing too. Don't wait because you think they're going down another quarter, another half, another eighth. What's the difference? You've got to tie up that property that you're looking for, that your buyers are looking for. Tie up the property, right? Because that's where you're going to live for a very long time. Tie up the property that you want. Don't worry about what the rates are. Rates are favorable. How's that?
Yeah,
Rates
they're going to be
very
great.
favorable.
There
That's
you
it.
go. Hey, the extended to spring home buying season, it seems like it's just been I didn't think it was going to be this busy this spring of 2019. We thought sort of the inventory could be a player that could fall into this where, the prices have gone up. There's so little inventory in the marketplace. And then the rates appear to be creeping up November, December, January. Of course, all of that changed now. And you guys said this spring has been as busy as ever any other year you've had.
And it's kind of interesting because we had, a house that was listed down the street from a house that a client bought. And the difference between the two houses was significant, and it's like, you bought in December. It was a great time.
Oh,
because
right,
it would have
right.
cost them probably almost $10,000 more for the same house now.
Yeah, and people still keep waiting. Of course, we see that appreciation, even though it might slow down, the reports are that appreciation in 2019 has been adjusted nationally to about 3.6%. Well, that's a pretty good deal. And again, if you're looking at a $300,000 house, well, if you wait, again, it could be $10,000, $15,000 more if you wait 4 or 5 months or when that season turns.
Yep.
You'll see the consumer traffic as well. Century Lock that provides electronic lock boxes. Showings are way up. We see it when we're showing clients' houses as well. So if you find what you want, make an offer.
So listings are up too, right? After
Yes.
Memorial Day, generally, the kids are getting out of school. People are getting their house ready. They want to go ahead and put their house up for sale because they want to put it up for sale and they want to sell it before what? Before September.
Right. Because they
Before the kids go back to school. So if you're moving school districts or you have to get a child into a certain school district and you don't want to wait. So you're seeing now there's a plethora of listings that are happening right now. So you're going to see the inventory go up. But again, it's not an inventory issue. It's a quality of inventory issue, correct?
There are some very attractive houses that if they're priced right and they're attractive, they're gone.
Right.
There's no question about it. If we have something, and this is something a lot of first-time buyers should consider, if you have something that's what I'm going to call the ugly house, it's got nasty paint colors and it's got some ugly carpet, that's the one you're really going to have the best shot at getting and the best shot of negotiating on.
That's a great
But if
point.
it's the pretty house, it's going to be a brutal battle.
You better have your plan together, and you better be working with some smart people to sort of point these type of things out because this is what's going on in the marketplace. If you're already looking at these nicer homes, well, you're overbidding on them because there's multiple bids on them.
Yep.
I know I had a friend of mine put a house on the market. It was like last Thursday. We had 29 showings before the weekend was out and an offer on Monday. So, yeah.
It was pretty, wasn't it?
It wasn't really. You know what? It was. It was pretty. It had a lot of great things. It had a great location. It had enough prettiness in it, although it could have been cleaned up a little bit. But I think due to there were some of the comments came back that said, hey, this needs to be cleaned up, blah, blah, blah. But there was plenty of people that understood the value in the house.
Well, right, you can always paint and you can always carve it, right? So isn't ugliness in the eye of the beholder? So and isn't it coming back? Aren't orange and green walls coming back with green shed carpet?
You're right.
Isn't that coming back?
Avocado appliances, too. Don't forget those.
Are you kidding me with the orange countertop and everything? But guess what? I've seen in actual homes magazines where they're painting the walls in different colors and they've got the the 60s flavor. Let's call it the 60s flavor back.
If you guys are out there listening, 248-539-9797. We'll take all your calls on mortgages, real estate, purchasing a house, selling a house, and, of course, always refinancing. Got some great people in from Coldwell Banker in the Northville area. And, of course, I'd like your email, guys, for all your moves. We'll get to that a little bit later. But if you want to buy a house, you need to have a strong approval letter, and that's why you want to call Capital Mortgage Funding at 1-800-LOW-RATE. But more importantly here, it's not always about just the approval letter, because we've seen a lot of families shaking these pieces of paper around.
Yeah, they're not real.
But they're not real at all. And
Not
I
real.
continuously been asking families and some individuals that have called us, hey, Harvey, I hear you on the radio show. I start asking questions, but I'm already pre-approved. And then I ask the simplest question: have you turned in these documents to somebody? Have they done any of this? And if the answer is no, then you're truly not approved. And again, if you guys are working with those buyers, it's really a disadvantage to everyone who's involved in the transaction.
And when you're on the listing side, the first thing we do with any offer we get is we call the lender.
Say, hey, what's going on here with
Yep.
this? How far are you into it? Hey, that music says we're up against our first break. It's 9:10 if you're just joining us. Keep it here on 97.1 The Ticket. All your calls right when we come back. Alrighty, welcome back to the show. 9:15 if you're just getting up, June 1st. That's right.
Turn that music up.
Love it. Welcome,
go.
Detroit. A lot going on, of course, in the city. We're still rocking here. I just love that tune, don't you? Keep it going here. Detroit Rock City, of course. Hey, it's a Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show. Again, brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. We're powered by Fairway Independent Mortgage Corporation. We get the job done for you. Just give us a call at 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker. Of course, we take your calls here in the studio at 248-539-9797. We're going to get to some calls right away here. We got Crystal calling in about an appraisal question. Crystal, good morning and welcome to our show.
Good morning. How are you?
Real
Good
good. What's
morning,
happening?
Good. So I have a question about appraisal that I just got last night. So when I put the offer in on the house, it listed the square footage around 1,300 square foot.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the appraisal happened to come back in at like 923 square foot.
That's a big difference.
It is a huge difference, which I kind of knew once I did the home inspection, and so I talked to my realtor about it. He said, oh, well, once the appraisal comes in, they'll look at other comps in the area at the actual square footage.
Right.
Well, after doing some research on digging, the last public record I found on the square footage was actually 884 square foot on it.
Yep.
Okay.
So they pulled some comps in the area, and all of the other houses that are around that same square footage, it does have a walkout basement, so I compared houses with that as well. They all come in at like 150 square foot, and this one came in at 178 per square foot.
Well, yeah, I like addressing that if I can.
Go ahead,
I mean,
Eric.
you know, the most reliable number that you could look on an appraisal, and what an appraiser does is the comparable sales in the area closest to your subject property that are, again, most comparable to your home. So the square footage, you know, everybody wants to do the calculation. Square footage times this equals the value. No, not the way it works. I have a couple of questions I want to address with you up front. Why, you know, on a listing ticket, when you read a listing ticket, and Mike's going to tell you about this, it'll say this information is deemed reliable, but not necessarily accurate, okay?
Right.
So it goes like this. Why does it say 1,300 on the listing, and what was the discrepancy between the actual, was there a sunroom? Was there an enclosure that was, that they counted maybe? I mean, why, you know, what was the discrepancy in your opinion?
I'm not really sure what happened. I talked to the realtor about it, and he said sometimes they just put the wrong square footage
it
amount.
happens that way. I get that happens that way. So let me jump to number two.
Yeah.
Is the house the house that you want, and does it comp out to other homes in the neighborhood?
No.
Okay, is that a no and no, or is just a no? Is that you don't want the
No.
house?
It's
Now only at Parkway Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram on Hall Road in Clinton Township, where you just show up, sign up, and ride. Open Saturday 10 to 3. See dealer for details at parkwaycpj.com 24/7.
There's still time for the finishing touch on your yard with the lowest price of the season on Scott's Triple Shred Mulch. Black, red, or brown, just $2.99 a bag at your participating Ace Hardware, June 8th, 9th, and 10th.
Today, 11 to 1, 97.1 The Ticket Street Team will be at the grand opening of Great Lakes Ace Hardware in Detroit on Mack Avenue. Special offers, demos, free samples. You could win movie passes, Cedar Point tickets, and more. Details at 971theticket.com.
The only way you can take 97.1 The Ticket with you is the radio.com app. Download it today and listen to us anytime, anywhere. Brought to you by the LaFontaine Automotive Group, the family deal.
97.1 The Ticket.
All righty, welcome back to the show, 9:15. Gorgeous outside today. What do you think? June 8th,
About
2019. Not too bad. A lot of parties going on. There's a lot of sporting events going on, graduation parties. Congratulations and salute to all those fine grads out there, and congratulations, and hopefully you do well. You don't have to get into real estate. You can get into become a lawyer and a doctor, and we wish you well in college.
You could do that.
Yeah, we got enough.
Be a
I
mortgage
want them to
person.
do that because then they'll come to us for services.
That's it. That's
Hey,
right.
you know, I love the in between the breaks here. We always talk about different things, but we were just talking about like who's showing you the house and what do they bring to the table and the differences of professionalism. Harry, of course, had to tell me, no, you can't say that. But there's no doubt you don't want a part-time person necessarily working with you. They don't. You mentioned something. They don't know what your needs and wants are.
Right. A lot of times people will say, well, I want a ranch and I want a family room. And it's really not that they want a ranch. It's that they want something where there's entry-level bedroom for either themselves or for a guest. It's really about how they're going to live in the house as opposed to what boxes does it tick.
Right. And it's a lifestyle approach. I mean, they have to go ahead and they have to be able to see it. It has to be a vision. When you walk into a house that might not be perfect, you can make it perfect for you. Exactly. So you walk in there and maybe you're a handy person and maybe the house needs a little bit more work. And maybe to somebody else, it's not the house that they want. But when you know your client, you know their needs, you've known these people for a long time, and you know they're good at being a handy person, they walk in, they see a totally different house when they walk in that maybe that you showed it to somebody else before. So you can never prejudge. You can't be predisposed as to, what your clients in life, whatever, occupation you're in, don't be predisposed. Just give people the option of going in and picking it out for themselves. Now, you can give them ideas or they can tell you what they think, but, open it up. Use a broad spectrum of ideas and thought process and just open it up because you don't know. How do you know? How do you know? I might not want to be a handy guy, Harvey. I might want that batting. I might like that batting cage in my backyard. I say it every week.
Oh, yeah.
I might like that built-in pool.
Right.
Other people might not like it. They don't want that stuff. It's a pain, right? I mean, everybody thinks because they have a pool in their backyard, it's worth money. No, it's not. Because if you don't want it there and you have to take it out or fill it in, it's going to cost you money.
Well, you could find a big lot here, and it's got a lot of maintenance that comes with it, too,
Right.
where someone else has said, you know what, I'm not at that point.
Maybe I don't want a big lot.
Maybe I don't want to take care of it. Maybe I don't pay the money to have someone take care of it.
But
And
I wouldn't prejudge anything like that. I would listen to the clients, and we try to listen to our clients and get their goals and objectives. We talk about that. And then what we try to do, like you do, you will show them a lot of homes. We will go ahead and offer all of the options, all the programs, all the down payment options. You can never, you can't prejudge.
Well, let me throw this at you guys, Lisa, Ken. I mean, you get a lot of clients. Obviously, they have the pre-approval letter, and they're coming to you, and it says something on it. It says what they can afford potentially. It has a mortgage amount or a maximum purchase price. But again, what is more important sometimes? You're in this transaction. Do you get the best house? Do you get the best house to match your needs? Do you get the best house that are you going to grow into a home? Is it the location? When you sit with the clients, give me a little bit of perspective of like when you're meeting with them and how you sort of feel like what areas and what houses would fit their needs.
Well, one of the first things we start with is, obviously, where do you have to go to every day, whether it's a work or a school? What do you like to do after hours? Is the best thing in your life is that you want to be able to walk out your house and get on a bike path?
Yeah.
Is it that you want to be able to look out and see something? Is it that you want to be able to close the door on Saturday and spend the weekend exploring Michigan because it's gorgeous? And it's a lifestyle, as you said, Harry. It's a lifestyle decision. It's not necessarily the physical structure. It's what meets your needs.
Right. We're a pretty mobile area. This area was built because we're the car capital of the world. It was built to drive. And philosophically, people can always drive to where they work, but you want to live where you want to live and you want to be and spend time with your family and when you're not working. It used to be, I mean, I'm going to sound like the old guy in the room. It used to be we live to work. Okay, people don't live to work anymore. Okay, they work to live now. So we, growing up, our whole thought process is we got to work, we got to work, we got to work. But now that's changed. So my opinion would be is you want to live where you want to live. You can always go to work. You can always drive to work or Uber to work or whatever you got to do. But you want to live in a community where you want to live. That's really it.
And a lot of times you move out of a little different location, and like you said, you get a little bit more for your money. So whether it be $150, $250, or $450, sometimes moving to another city might have some other amenity that works for you, such as lower property taxes, closer to something else, or some reason why. And I like that you said there's a lot of trails out there and stuff. Do you want to be able to jump on a bike and hit a trail? So it makes it really fun. Home ownership should be really fun and enjoyable.
Actually, you just made an interesting comment. I was at an open house the other weekend, and a gentleman had purchased a house in South Lyon, and the listing I had was in Lyon Township, and nobody explained to him the difference in property taxes.
Oh, okay. And go ahead and tell me.
And they did not. The city of South Lyon has higher property taxes than Lyon Township does.
Okay.
Nobody also bothered to explain to him the uncapping of property value. And he was quite surprised when I said, well, this is what your taxes were. This is for sure what they're going to be this year. And I said, and they could be higher. And I could see the color drain from his face.
Oh, boy. Yeah,
it's not a good thing.
I don't want to throw my buddy under the bus, but I think he had bought a house and he had actually downsized for where he was looking, and he was in a great area. And sure enough, I had to teach him that a little bit about it. Just, hey, you understand that those aren't the property taxes. They're the property taxes now, but they will become uncapped. So it leads to another conversation, having more professional people in the transaction to just obviously show you all the figures that are involved, so that you don't have that surprise party at your closing table.
Exactly. Well, I always tell people, I said, I never want to be the reason that a year from now you look at one another and say, I can't go out to dinner.
It's got to be affordable for sure.
I want to prepare you for it, saying, it's for sure going to be this. It could be this. Is that a number you're comfortable with?
Yeah, you got to definitely be comfortable.
So, Harv, let's talk about the thing I like to talk about with realtors in the room, property values. Talk about property values. And last week that we had a situation that Harvey came into my office, and right now we're still running into some appraisers that are pulling comps from the winter time. Okay, spring sales are now, it happened. It's, we're approaching summer, and there's still some lagging sales, if you will. So properties, if we'll use $200,000, if you ink a purchase agreement at $200, maybe in the wintertime that property sold for $190.
Yep.
Okay, maybe all the comps are coming in at $190, but now it's the summer. Going in the summertime, we know that the sun's out, everything looks better. $200,000 purchase price. So sign it. Appraisal comes in. It comes in at $190. So what do you do? Well, we've had pretty good luck, and Harvey had one last week where, believe it or not, it came in less than 1% of a difference. So let's just use I think it came in at $3,000 below the purchase price. $3,000. All right. So Harvey brought it to me, and this was a great transition. Harvey says, take a look at this. What do you think? He goes, I'm not even mad about this one. This one I'm not even mad about it. So what we did was we had a dialogue with the appraisal management firm. There's a rebuttal process. I go ahead and email them, and I said, guys, come on, really, $3,000? I mean, take a look at it. Look at comp one, look at the comps, and they're still running into some issues. But in this case, a formal rebuttal was done, and they got ahead. They went ahead and said they made the adjustment. They bumped it up $3,000. Now, that sounds easier than it's done. There's a whole process that's done. If it's only $3,000, people are shaking their head out there in mortgage land, because all the mortgage people listen to the show. What do you mean $3,000? That's just a bunch of junk.
It happens, though.
It happens.
Yeah.
It happens. But you go through a process, you get it overturned, and it happens. So what happens if it's $10,000, $15,000, $20,000? Well, you better have some good comparables. You better have some good reasons. You guys are realtors. You know that when you go ahead and sell a house, that house that you've listed, you better be at that house with those comps in hand, meeting that appraiser. What do you think about that?
Most definitely. We meet every appraiser that comes to our listings. We provide comps to them. We also try to get our clients to provide us a list of everything they've done to the house with receipts if possible.
Very smart.
And it's the first place you have to start, because they don't know your house. They're in there for 10 seconds.
Right.
It's not quite 10 seconds, but it's a rather quick in and out. Whereas we've probably been in all of the comps that are up and down the block before we listed the house.
Yeah, and there are appraisers out there that will welcome that. Mike Tomchek, who's our resident appraisal panel guy that we have on here, he's not a guy that will rebuff somebody's suggestions, but it better be solid. It better be good. It better be from the area. He does not want to see something for 3 miles away that's sold on a different kind of lot on a main street or whatever. It better be from the same, if it's a subdivision, comps within the last few months in the same sub, same square footage, same elevation. It better be truly a comparable home and not something crazy, because he'll call me up and go, "What are you doing to me? What are you saying here, Harry?"
All in all, you guys have had a pretty good success here. Homes appear to be, not everyone's offering $25,000 over asking and stuff, but as long as you're within that $5,000 to $10,000 range, you've had pretty good luck this year.
I would say, in general, we have been, and a lot of it goes into the strength of the offer.
Okay.
And part of the strength of the offer is the lender.
There you go. There's a lot of things that are moving parts in a transaction. We use that term a lot. This says we're up against a quick break. When we come back, why to hire a real estate agent? A whole lot more. 248-539-9797.
Hi, Harry Glantz and Danberg for Capital Mortgage Funding. We do loans everywhere. In Southfield, in Birmingham, in Royal Oak, in Grosse Ile, in Detroit, in Canton, in Northville. No matter where you live, we want to do your mortgage too. That's Capital Mortgage Funding, 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker.
Welcome back to the show, 9:30. It's the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show, brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. You can find us at 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker.
So, Harvey, I'm going to interrupt you a bit. You want to know why? We have a special guest, and she's going to kill me. Liz Steinhaus, our general counsel for Fairway Independent Mortgage. She doesn't want to talk, but I have an affinity for female attorneys. You know that.
Oh, yeah, that's your thing.
I love them, and that's why Liz and I became great friends when we joined a long time ago, and she's in town for a graduation. She used to live in Detroit.
Yes.
She lived in downtown Detroit before it was cool to live in downtown Detroit, but she's here, and she keeps us out of trouble. It goes like this. You know how I keep us out of trouble?
Yes.
She keeps me out of trouble.
Oh, good.
Along with all the other attorneys
There's a higher
in my life.
authority. I appreciate
There's always
that.
Come on.
And
there's always higher authority.
And, of course, you would know who Liz is if you're watching us on Facebook Live, of course. Turn us on there. We got the Hardcore Mortgage Show. And, of course, if you're listening here on 97.1 The Ticket, kick it up a little bit. Another 29 minutes or so. And, of course, we have sports all day long here with Pat Caputo and a whole bunch of good stuff. 248-539-9797. We're going to take all your calls. Let's move off to Pete on a cell phone. Good morning, Pete. Welcome to the show.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
I got a question. I bought a house in Manistee, Michigan, back in September. Went up there for 8 months. I regutted it. And my question is, I know you usually do the comparable houses in the neighborhood, but should you leave a sheet for that inspector when he goes in to appraise it, showing, we took out all new hardwood floors, new carpeting, every light switch, every fan, every, the new countertops. Should we tell them about that? And like cosmetically, I know I didn't know if we should do that, but like when you walk into the outside from the porch, you look and you say, wow, that's a really nice porch, the handrails and all that. Well, I tore out all those metal,
the rusty metal look, and you put in the new stuff. Yeah.
60 or 50.
So
tore that all out, put all new pine wood. It looks great in the back and the front. Should you leave a list for that appraiser?
Yeah, why not? Did you already sell the place? Is that what's going on? It said
no. We got an offer on it. Now we're waiting for them to go in and appraise it.
Okay.
So we're just a little nervous.
Well, 100%. Who's the appraisal contact? I know it's up in Manistee. So is your agent going to meet the appraiser there, or are you the contact? Who's going to meet the appraiser at the house?
I think the agent is going to.
Well, let's not think. Call up the agent today and say, hey, I need you to meet the appraiser at the house. Friday. Welcome back to the show, 929. Good morning. If you're just turning us on here, we got the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. We are powered by Fairway Independent Mortgage Corporation. We bring it to you. We get your files closed, that's for sure.
They always close, Harvey.
They always close here.
I don't want to hear about it. They always close.
If you don't have any snags in your files, you're probably not doing enough business because, as we mentioned, the moving parts bit, there are so many different things in a transaction and a lot of people involved in a transaction. And what I pose is the question, do you need to hire a real estate agent? Oh, you bet. Here's some of the benefits. Why? They save time and energy, there's no doubt. Not only can they find you a house in your price range, they know the market. They have the access to all the people. And one other thing that came out years ago, the pocket listings. Knowing the community, knowing the pocket listings out there is just completely vital to your success as a homeowner and finding that right house.
That is definitely true. And you know, when you're the listing agent, you like to have your property as exposed to as many possible buyers as possible. I mean, my preference isn't necessarily to sell my own listings. My preference is to get the best buyer for my client's house. And that's something that I think is best by when you have a property that's out there for everybody to look at. But then there's also people who are like, I'm not ready to have 100 people traipsing through my house. And then it's kind of like a marriage that you're working on.
Yeah, we talk about that, right? If it's hardwood floors and the owner of the house appears to be walking with dirty shoes on, but you take off your shoes in a house and you do the proper thing. Hey, definitely want to tap into the knowledge of your real estate agent. If you're working with some agents out there now and you're not tapping into their knowledge, they're not sharing any new information, that's probably not the right agent for you. That would be a key giveaway right there.
Well, look, in life you have to hire experts in what they do for a living. If you don't sell houses and you're selling your house, and you work for a living, hire somebody that does that for a living. It's philosophically. I'm not saying that you can't sell a house by yourself, but it's not as easy as everybody thinks. That's why I think the stat is somewhere in the 92% of all houses that are sold by a realtor.
There you go.
So you have to go ahead. You have to hire an expert. You're just going to get more money that way for your house. I mean, it's a proven fact. I mean, the statistics don't lie. Now, again, there's always exceptions to every rule, but by and large, the vast majority of homes in the United States are sold with the help of a real estate agent. It just is that way.
And Harry, of course, on the buy side, Lisa, we talked about at the break, on the buy side, you don't pay anything.
Correct.
The sellers pay the commissions on real estate. And again, so often, I'm sure people ask you this.
Especially when we have people that are moving from outside of the area. It's now, how do you get compensated for this? We're compensated by the seller because the seller wants to have the best possible transaction, meaning the smoothest with a qualified buyer that gets them to the table on time.
They can tap into you got to tap into that knowledge bank of your agent, and that's the key to it. Kent, what were you say?
And a seller wants a buyer to have an agent that understands the process that can make it happen.
All right. That's good. That's profound, too. 248-539-9797. You know, a couple things about the Great Lakes as the weather's starting to get a little bit nicer here in Michigan here. I was just talking with the neighbor last night, my buddy Mike Kahn, and we were talking. I said, Mike, you ever been on the Great Lakes when you get a little bit in trouble? In other words, you're out there
boy.
and the wind starts blowing you towards Mackinac and you were just out there on a little paddle boat. Anyways, be safe out there just because it's starting to become boating season out there. If you're out there on any of our waterways and enjoying yourself, be careful. Of course, no booze out on the lake, only for your guests. Definitely be careful if you're driving a boat and practice safe boating, please. I like to hear that everyone's going to have a great summer out here.
Well, Harv, you're the boating expert. You're the lake
not
expert.
quite, but a little bit.
No, that's not true. You're out on the lake a lot.
Thank you.
You've owned a house on a lake. You live near lakes, and you're that guy. It's really important here. One of the best things about living in Michigan is because in the summertime, there's no better place to live. It just takes a long time for summer to get here, but once the summer's here, it's great. But in the wintertime, it's great, too. We have all the skiing. We've got hunting. We've got... everybody in Michigan, where do you go for, pleasure in Michigan? Up north. Everybody, that's all we talk about. We talk about going up north. Okay, it's in our lexicon as Michiganders. Where do we go? We go up north. Whether you golf, whether you ski, whether you hunt, whether you fish, we're going up north. But you have to be safe on it, and we say it every year because in the news, inevitably, you're going to hear about these stories that people do stupid things. Try not to do stupid things.
There you go.
There you go. Uncle Harry, try not to do stupid things.
I like that, Uncle Harry. But you segued right into, up north and buying a vacation home. And it doesn't always have to be all the way up north. You can buy a vacation home down in Jackson or an inland lake right around the area here. And that might just be conducive to your lifestyle. But great opportunities out there. We have a lot of families. A gentleman had called me recently who was looking to buy out on Houghton Lake. And I'm not sure I'm going to do the transaction with them, but very affordable. And that's one of the things still is that our up north properties on so many different choices. So whether you're in a little bit more expensive area like Harbor Springs or somewhere like that, or versus maybe a Taoist where it's just a little bit more affordable. So lots of different opportunities in all different price ranges.
One thing we see is a lot of times people will they're going to upsize their up north house, but what they're going to do then is kind of almost have a pied à terre in this area.
Okay.
They're going to pick up something small that's maybe a 2-bedroom, 1.5 bath, small condo or something like that, so that they can actually go up north and enjoy it and not have to worry about it here. But they also have some place that come back to, whether it's for family or work or something like that.
Yeah, they're gearing their lifestyle to the up north outdoor lifestyle. So they want a better place up north, so they're going to downsize here. It makes a lot of sense. And that is, once again, it's a lifestyle move. And, I'm going up north. Hey, here we are.
You're going.
Here, I'm going up north next weekend for a wedding. We're going to Mackinac. Good friends of our daughter getting married in Mackinac Island. So that's going to be fun to be up there. And maybe grab your golf gloves and play like
do all that
before
too.
the wedding.
All right, we got open lines all morning long. 248-539-9797. We got Lisa and Kent in here from the Coldwell Banker Weir Manual office out in Northville. Well, you guys are from Northville Township in that area, but the office is in Northville.
Yep.
And of course, that whole area has been booming. If you guys are interested in buying or selling your house, definitely give us a call here on this show. We'll get you set up with these fine folks and make it really fun. All right, here, you're fixing me up over here.
I'm sorry.
There you go. It's okay. Hey, as we were talking about, of course, equity in your home earlier in the show, still great opportunities out there to refinance your home. Yes, rates are a bit lower now than in the last 12 months. Take advantage of, again, what we really like to do is urge all our clients to take a look at maybe reducing the term to our 15-year. Even for our clients here that are consolidating their debt, Sam, you see it so often, they're consolidating a ton of debt. They're going to save a ton of money. Well, we take that term down also. And now if they come back to us in 5 or 10 years, they're going to have so much equity in their house. Talk about financial success. You bring that term down on a refinance, Sam. That's fantastic.
Very much so, Harvey. And no better time than now. I mean, I'll give you a couple of examples. Going from an adjustable rate to a fixed rate for $11.
Yeah.
Which was from a 5.125 to a 4.125. Now, how much of an advantage is that? Or how about taking 12 years? I had a client that bought a house in Royal Oak in 2016, and we refinanced him, took away 12 years for a couple of $100 more, and he took away 12 years.
Yeah, 12 years right off your mortgage.
The idea when you take out a mortgage is to eventually pay it off, okay, or pay it down. And that's what every single payment goes toward, a lot toward interest, some toward principal. If we could take you from a 30-year to a 15 or a 30-year to a 20, and your plan is, remember, you have to stay in the house. If your plan is staying in that house for a long time, it doesn't make sense not to refinance. All right, so what you have to look at, there are three things. How long are you going to be in the house? How much does it cost? Okay, and again, how much you're going to save. So it's only about saving money when you refinance. And another thing is, if you're paying off toxic debt, you're saving money on the interest that you're not paying at 18% versus now in the 4% range that you're paying on your mortgage. Why wouldn't you want to do that? And please, everybody, you got to call me up and tell me rates are going down. I can't wait to scroll these calls.
Hey, they're getting better.
You know the rates are going down, so you're going to wait. How does that make sense? If you're at a higher rate now, what are you waiting for? Oh, I must have said that a million times.
That sounds just like your commercial.
What are you waiting for? Do it now. Don't wait, because you're just prolonging how much money you're going to save. Why not? Why pay another month of a higher payment? Makes no sense. Think about it. Just stop and think about that.
Well, it can get a little scary around here, too. We're talking about maybe imposing this tariff here on Monday. They're 5% with Mexico. It's going to affect a lot of our automobile suppliers. Of course, here, we're the automotive capital of the world, basically. And again, all cars, although we think they're all built right here, the parts are coming. They're global. Cars are global now. They got parts coming from all over the world. And it's very important that these tariffs don't affect us here locally. Again, as Harry's saying, don't wait too long, because you never know, your situation can change. All right, let's move off to a caller here. We've got Paul calling in from, I believe, Westland. Good morning, Paul. Welcome to our show.
Good morning. How you guys doing?
Real good. What's your question?
Well, my son's actually looking for a house right now in the Livonia area.
Oh, good.
And what we've been hearing a lot lately is these houses are for sale at, let's just say, a price of $225,000. And you walk in and say, okay, I'll give you $225,000 for your house. And then people are saying, hold on, we're going to wait for our best and final offer a week from today.
Okay.
And that's not even a realtor term I've even heard before, but yet that seems to be something that's coming out more and more often. People are not accepting the offer. They're saying, no, I think we can do better, and we want to wait a week.
They're going to wait till Sunday at midnight.
Lisa, what do you think about that?
So I was wondering, what are you guys thinking about that, or what is that the new way this now, or what?
You'll find sometimes agents will price a house at an aggressively low price to generate interest. And the objective there is to create a competitive situation where you put a lot of pressure on the buyer, and then the buyer feels compelled to make an offer. Perfectly honest, that's not a tactic we like to use, because what we find when you put that pressure on a buyer, when you're the listing agent, that you start getting offers that don't make sense. And really what you should be doing is looking for somebody where it's priced that will actually get to the closing table. When you talk about that, you said you've seen a lot of houses where it's listed at $225. We talk about the pretty house and looking for one that maybe could use a lick of paint or something like that, and that'll help.
And then also, Lisa, let me throw
Paul,
this.
well, let me ask, sorry to interrupt, but Paul, you asked a question. So did the offer actually go in at the listed price? So it's $225 listed. You made the offer at $225.
Yes.
Okay.
But what he's finding out in Livonia area is houses are priced very. It's almost to the point where a couple of people I've known that have bought a house too is we're getting way past. You guys have been talking about appraisal value.
Right.
I mean, it's just crazy. People are offering people $30,000 more for a house.
Yeah, we've seen
and then
that.
they're coming up with the cash to try to make up the difference because the appraisal's not coming through.
That's right.
And so I don't think they're not necessarily lowballing the house to start. They're priced pretty reasonable, but people are being aggressive in their offers, and he's lost so many houses because he's not willing to spend the extra money to buy a house that's not worth what they're asking and what the best offers are coming in.
Well, last week we had Livonia Realtors on, and they expressed that to us. It's a hot market out there. You got to keep at it. You got to keep going at it. Sooner or later, you're going to find a house, but the market is hot right now.
Hey, Paul, it's a great call. We're up against a quick break here. When we come back, we're going to sort of expand a little bit on Paul's question here. We'll talk about escalation clauses and a couple different ways to get your offer accepted. Keep it here on 97.1 The Ticket. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the show, 9:45. Just another 15 minutes more of the Hardcore Mortgage Show, brought to you by Capital Mortgage.
Can we go another hour?
Now we could. I got someone coming to the office, but we
got
could.
11 o'clock too. But
good.
Yeah,
well, Pat Caputo coming up with sports and
All
social commentary coming up at 10 o'clock. Keep it here on 97.1 The Ticket. Then we got some Tiger baseball a little bit later in the day, and they are going. Is it true that they have a 5-game winning streak? Wait, no.
Listen,
am I wrong?
Listen,
they
got
got some game winning
5
streak
last night.
All right.
5 for 5.
They got a couple games
That's
under
pretty
their
strong.
belt here. I don't know if they're quite headed to the World Series, but they're definitely still interesting to me.
Maybe not, but if it's a nice night out and it's a summer and they're playing in town, I'll be down there.
There you go. 248-539-9797. We brought Mike Lucas in from America Hometown 3.
And Lizzie.
And, of course, Liz is here.
Liz.
Got the counselor here. She's not going to talk,
Liz.
though, unless we got any problems here. Liz will jump in. Hey, Mike, talk a little bit about what's going on over there in your neck of the woods. I know, like, we talked about the inventory a little bit. Truly, buyers, if they want to move anyone in these areas, what's your path to success? Where would you direct them the first way?
Well, you have to, analyze everyone's situation and realize this is a domino game right now. A lot of people are sitting on equity, and, you have to make sure there's a lot of good communication between all the partners involved. Some of these deals that we're seeing, there's 3 or 4 deals that need to close. Whoever you're making an offer to, they're moving somewhere.
Yep.
And the people buying your house might have something to close.
That's right.
So you have to look at it from that aspect.
So as we say, there could be a lot of moving parts on the transactions, right? So if there's a lot of moving parts, you have to get your ducks in a row and make sure the communication is solid and upfront. Just have that plan. It's got to be solid. And, the fact that we do everything in-house, process, close, fund, underwrite, everything in-house, it's a tremendous advantage. Because early in the process, if we know what the scheduled events are going to be, we can go ahead and gear that transaction for success. But it all depends on the communication. You know what? I got to tell you something. People say, here, well, you were a rookie at one time, because I've always said I don't like dealing with rookies. Doesn't matter who you deal with, whether you're a rookie or you're experienced, the communication has to be there. It has to be upfront. And then do me a favor. Don't bother me. All right, just let's get the plan together. Let's execute the plan. Let's stay on course. And if there's a hiccup like Harvey had yesterday, everybody has them. Just tell us about it. Let us know what's going on, and it's usually not a big deal. But there's no way you should go down 3-4 weeks in the mortgage or real estate buying process and then have a hiccup. Unless, of course, it wasn't disclosed to anybody, and that's a situation where you can't foresee that. But this is all about communication and lining everything up to be successful, because you're working backwards. If closing date is on June 30th, you know that, and here we are on June 1st, all right, you know that your chances for success are pretty good because you know the end
Harry,
game.
the experienced people, as soon as you said that, you know what triggers in my mind? No, Harry, June 28th is a Friday because that's the last closing day of the month.
Good.
The experienced people bring something
Good.
to the game. If you don't have an experienced person, you're going to find out soon enough. Mike, I want to definitely talk a little. All righty, welcome back to the show. It's the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. Give us a call, 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker. Always here in the studio at 248-539-9797.
Having too much fun in here today, Harv.
Yeah, it's just the regular, mortgages and real estate talk, but it's a lot of fun. And we were talking about this as caller Paul had called in to expand on his call because it's really what's going on is here's a young buyer, 225, his kid's looking, and boy, it's discouraging. You used to make a full price offer and you think you get your offer, but there's 10 other families that also are making a full price offer. So, Lise, we talked about this, and Ken, we talked about this a little bit about the escalation clause where you can set this up with some contingencies, and explain the escalation clause that you're basically offering in some of the ones you've had.
What we'll typically say is if we understand that it's going to be a hot property, but your client, as the buyer, is always concerned about overpaying, you can put in what's called an escalation clause that'll say, we are willing to pay, $1,000 or $2,000, depending on the price of the house, over your next highest bona fide offer that you physically have to show us. And that, it'll have to appraise, or we're willing to accept a certain gap between the appraised price and the accepted price. And that's been very successful getting us offers. And perfectly honest, I haven't had anybody lately that's had to come up with the extra cost.
Right, and like you said, maybe it's $2,500 or somewhere between $2,500 and $5,000. You're basically saying, look, I'm willing. I don't want to lose this house. I can't. I've already lost 5 or 10 houses. I'm willing to overpay maybe $5,000 or $10,000 for this house, and I'm willing to give you $2,500 over your best offer. If they present it the proper way, hey, you get the house. Like you said, $10,000 in the scheme of things isn't a whole big difference.
And we'll ask people before we make this type of offer, we will say to them, what will it mean to you if you don't get this house? That's a big thing. The other thing we'll look at is, if you're a first-time buyer and you're looking for a ranch, your competition is going to be the downsizer. And it's very likely going to be somebody who's, only borrowing 50%. Well, that goes to quality of offer. So we'll say, let's expand what we're looking at.
All right.
The type of house, maybe the location.
Yeah, I mentioned it. Go ahead,
We talk about that contingency, then that means you have to waive the appraisal contingency. And then for us as a lender, we're only going to allow on that appraised value.
Correct.
So they're going to have to know going up front that they could have to bring in additional funds to the closing.
And that's why we usually cap it. We'll say, up to this much under, if it appraises up to this much under the offered value, this is how much we'll cover. After that, we obviously need to negotiate again.
Yeah, but also on those offers we have, Harvey, we talked about, there are creative ways to go ahead and have an offer accepted. You can also offer that they can stay in the house for 30, 45, 60 days after. Not everybody, most people don't want to move out at closing anymore.
Correct.
What they want, because there's nowhere to go. And what they want is they want to live in that house, quote unquote, rent free. So if you have an offer that allows a seller to stay in their house paying minimal or nothing for an extended period of time, that offer could get accepted before an offer that's even allowing, it's a full price offer.
And here's the other thing that people don't realize is that your first mortgage payment isn't due for almost a month to a month and a half.
Yeah, we pay our mortgage in the arrears, right? So if you close in June, you don't have a payment due till August 1st.
Right. So that actually gives you the flexibility as the buyer that you have living expenses for where you're at currently, but you don't have them coming in for the new property. So it's the impact to you is minimal.
90% of the families out there are getting a mortgage on a purchase. Again, all the sales out there, 90% of them are done with the mortgage. Lisa, I mentioned it to you. The cash offer is not any better than a mortgage nowadays. It's just not.
No.
Because different things can happen, even on a cash offer. And again, no one's showing up to the closing with a bag of money.
Cash, right.
Doesn't
Please
happen
do not
that
show
way.
up with cash.
And what savvy cash buyer who's buying, let's just say a $250,000 or call it a $450 house, who's not doing title insurance and doing some due diligence?
Those are the things, these days, financed offers are closing so quickly that a cash offer is really only a couple days different.
Right.
So if the cash buyer thinks they're going to get a deal on a house because they're going to close quicker, that's really not going to happen.
It's not sexy anymore.
No.
It's not.
Right. No one's showing up with bags full of money, although it sounds really interesting. Hey, June 2019, where do these buyers find the house? Would you believe it? 51% of them, of course, on the internet. 30% with their real estate agent. Yard signs are still at 7%. Friends and relatives holding pretty strong at 6%. Knowing the sellers, print, magazine, newspapers, those are all under 5%. But yeah, I mean, at first you may use the internet to sort of see what's out there and see some different areas. But a true real estate agent has you set up on the MLS system. And it's just, that's the professional way to do it. If you're searching for homes on any of these sites, I don't want to give them free advertising on here. Usually those houses are already sold or there's some other story behind it.
We frequently find that it's like, well, you didn't send me this house. What about this house? Well, that one's already sold. You told me you wanted these particular features. Those aren't there. Did you know this one doesn't have a basement? When it says handyman special, that means something. Let's go look at one so you get it.
Right. I saw somewhere in one of the articles I was reading, there's a lot of handyman specials in Chernobyl still. So, there's reasons why you stay away from those. But definitely every industry has their top pros in them. There's some mediocre talent out there. There's some bad eggs still in the industry. So it's very important that maybe you do get a referral from someone and find out who you're working with and what their background is in the transaction.
Harvey, perfect. You have to find out who you're working with. There's so many mass mailers going out, so many phone calls, so many robocalls, so many emails and texts going out to everybody. If you don't know who you're working with, that realtor, that mortgage person, that financial person, listen, don't look it up on the internet, all right? If somebody gives you a random call, all right, don't just hand them your social security number and give them your financial information. You have to know who you're working with. There are a lot of scams out there right now. There are title companies, there are fake title companies. People are wiring money to fake title companies, and they're being scammed. Okay, you have to know who you're doing business with. These are hundreds of thousands of dollars in transactions.
All right, a couple quick things to get into for business here. Of course, the rates are, again, 12-month lows right now. The 10-year Treasury sank to 2.05%. It's lowest since 2017. Take advantage of these low rates right now. If you bought a house even in the last couple years, and you might be paying PMI, so find out how to get rid of the PMI. Maybe there's enough equity in your house. We've had some strong sales, especially across Southeast Michigan recently, and there might be enough equity now in the house to eliminate that PMI. Also, did you have to get an FHA loan due to some circumstance? It's a great loan, but let's find out a way to get rid of that MIP. And again, by switching your FHA loan into a conventional loan, that's the only way to remove the MIP.
Right, MIP does not drop off automatically, does not drop off over time, regardless of how much equity you've built up in the house. It's on there forever. The only way to get it off, Harvey, is how?
You refinance it and you move yourself into a conventional loan. Drop the term, you're going to save some money. Harry, what about compare and learn all your options? Whether it be conventional, FHA, USDA, VA, deal with the professional people, even the Mishta loans out there. There's some great opportunities out there for a lot of families. They just got to find out how to get to that. And there's no doubt the Fannie Mae does all the statistics. People are saying they would much rather be owners than renters. You guys want to add something? Running, get a couple minutes left here. Give me a little pump on you guys. Sam, you got something to add here? Good.
I will, to Kent and Elisabeth, what would be the one message you would like to convey to a buyer or to a seller?
First one is don't give up. Don't give up. The right house is out there. It may take us a bit of time to find it, and we may have to get creative in both the financing options that Sam and Capital Mortgage can offer, also in what you're looking for. How can we make something work for you, as opposed to just ticking the boxes? How does the house work for you?
Exactly. I like that.
And we also say, whether you're a first-time buyer or a first time in a long time, let us educate you about the process. You'll feel comfortable with it. Once you get that pre-approval from Sam, you find the house you want, you're going to get it.
We try to make it a no surprise process.
There you go. That makes it a lot of fun. Again, just learn a little bit about the different programs out there and all the knowledge. And I think that we always say that knowledge gives you that confidence to move forward. And again, if you're a mortgage people, invite you in to see them. I would suggest that we have definitely found out over the last several years that the families are having great success by coming in and truly going over all the information. Harry, yesterday we had a wonderful couple come in.
Meeting.
I love it, Harry. They've sort of mentioned to me they had a dog in the parking lot with their uncle. Sure enough, Harry coming into my office here. We got a meeting going on.
Yeah.
Who's the dog and whose dog is this? Anyways, we have a dog-friendly office.
We have a pretty dog-friendly office. We try to make it easy for people. We love dogs. We have dogs in our office all the time, and I'm a dog-crazy guy. So anybody bringing their dog in, I'll take the dog in my office, feed it, play with it, do whatever you got to do.
This is unlike any other mortgage company. We're offering a dog-friendly environment. So again, to have your dog's going to live in the house too. Why shouldn't your dog be involved in the transaction?
Get that dog to sign me. Hey, does the dog have a job or income?
When you come to us, don't leave them in the car. Bring them in.
There you go. That's you. All right, you guys, thanks a lot for coming in. Fantastic. As I told you last time, we're going to definitely invite you back. A lot of knowledge out there. And you guys you can find Lisa and Ken over at Coldwell Banker. We're Emmanuel, or call Sam Mansour at our office. He'll hook you up with them. Strong approval letters, great real estate agents will make for a great purchase. All right, want to thank everyone for coming in. Of course, Sam Mansour and Harry Glanz. I'm Harvey Freed. Keep it here on 97.1 The Ticket. We got sports and social commentary coming up next.